How's it going out there in YouTubey land? I've actually been getting some stuff done, and again, it doesn't probably look like a whole lot of stuff's changed. Some stuff's moved around, but actually, well, with the Ford, I've got the transmission starter bolted back in. The slave's obviously installed, and that's the one that I made the modified bleeder for. You can see it there. I've still got the transfer case to put in there. That's just going to be a huge pain in the butt. Today I've been moving around some stuff. We're getting rid of our storage unit, so I'm putting stuff up there. I got to make another run to storage. I've been sweeping because the seals on the bottom of this door I still haven't gotten around to replacing, but I kind of need to because I got to run the heater. It's one of those big clunky old Modine heaters. It's just I don't even want to get into it, but I got to run it, so whatever. This is all the crap that I swept out of just from around this area, and as you can see, I'm still not done. I got to throw some more cardboard out into the dumpster over there, but that's easy enough. Sweeping, which is always good. I'm just getting tired. I'm probably hopefully going to finish this up this week because I need it running. And it's doing me no good sitting there. So there's some stuff waiting on there for me to just get crap done. Other fun stuff, I've got the new AccuSump basically ready to go in place. I am still figuring out exactly where I want to put it. There's a couple of options, but mostly it's the original one is right along here, but that made the cool shirt box really awkward to get out because of this bar right in the middle there. So what I want to do is basically take that out. This ballast here is going to get turned. The cool shirt box is going to get turned and put there, and that'll make it easy to just drop in. So the AccuSump can either go there, or I was actually thinking it might be able to go right in front of that shifter box that I made. So the advantages of it being up there are it's way out of the flipping way. It's lower than being up on top of the box. Yeah, I probably am actually going to end up thinking about it. I'm going to probably put it there. So that'll be good. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be good. Then I also made this mounting plate for the ECU Master PMU16. I was originally going to mount it turned 90 degrees that way, but I actually wanted to have the connector coming down, and I'm going to make a bracket under here or something to hold the harness after I get the harness built for that. And I think that'll be better overall to do that. And then I'll have another bracket on the side to loop the 4 gauge. It's the recommended size of the wire, which is all of this stuff is 4 gauge in here. Some people critique having 4 gauge for starter wire, but this is a dinky 1.5 liter engine. The starter doesn't draw all that many amps, and it's never been an issue, and it's not going to be an issue. One of the other things that I found, you can see that the shock mounting plates are out. We ran into some issues with that, and these are decent quality, decent design. I'm not going to say they're perfect, but the issue is, well, you can kind of see it here. Let me get the camera. So the bearing, this is a solid bearing, there's no rubber bushing. This is the bearing that is actually supposed to be in this bearing carrier, and there is the retaining ring, and as you can see, it is smashed. I dropped it down the hole, whatever. It is smashed to pieces and distorted. The reason being is that right now the suspension is at full droop. And I mean, some of you know what that means, but basically you've got a lock nut. I don't even know where the heck the lock nut for this got to. Oh, it's right here. The lock nut, when it's fully threaded in and draws all of these threads up, basically lifts the whole suspension up from full droop. So if you are getting a situation where you have the car jumping a curb or just driving aggressively, we are kind of spring limited in this car because it uses torsion bars and not actually springs. Can't really see them, but there's, as you can see, there's no shock. There's no spring or coilover like the later model Hondas are. And so we do get a bit more body lean up front than would be preferred. Now, basically what that means is every time the suspension tries to go to full droop, where it's limited by the torsion bar holding tube and the other pieces of the suspension, instead this plate, the nut, and everything basically are trying to slam all that weight through that little teeny tiny retaining ring. And somebody's pulling up. Oh, that's the police turning around. They do that occasionally. Honestly, it's not horrible because I don't feel bad about this place. It's actually pretty darn safe. You know, there's never been any issues that I know of around here. So, but anyway, back to this. So basically, where this bearing retainer sits is about an inch too high. And that's a problem. The other issue is that you can see, I'll try to get this to focus, that beat up part on the inner side there, that's supposed to be a nice sharp, it's not a slot. What am I trying to say? I can't even think. But basically that's where the retaining ring is supposed to go. That has been hammered out. That is, basically this is not usable now. So that's a real problem. I'm trying to figure out a way to reuse these because they obviously fit this and the top plate. The reason why I was doing all of this is because we need more negative camber. Because of the limitations of the suspension design, we can do fiddle with the lower control arm, but it's actually kind of difficult to do. While that is possible, it would just be easier to manipulate the top. So I was taking the tops apart to see if I could basically lean well, that's not a shock, it's actually technically a strut because that sets the angle of the camber for the front. So leaning the strut over, before the maximum was about here, and as you can see, if you can get it closer, we'd have more than enough camber, because right now we've only got 2.5 degrees camber or so, and we really want between 3 and 3.5 depending on the track and tires and stuff. But we do need that extra bit of camber to really maximize what the tire that we've got, and that's what started this whole investigation. So it leaves us in a bit of a bind. I do think that it is solvable. I'm just going to have to figure out some stuff to make it work, basically. The biggest issue being that most of the designs that I can think of off the top of my head are almost too clunky to actually get the top of the shock over as far as we need to get the camber that we need. So with the primary concern being the angle and the amount of camber, that's going to have to take precedence over just being the easiest design that is possible. So that's going to be a challenge. That was an unforeseen challenge. But I'll figure it out, and it is what it is. And yeah, so with the PMU in place and that being finalized, and all the other positions of pretty much all of the other electrical stuff being finalized, I can actually start laying out the wiring harness. Still got to order some wire for that, but there's a plan now, and basically it involves there's still a bunch of stuff got to do. Got to take out all of this really heavy and awkward and 10 line. This is getting relocated, and then this mess down here of adapters is stacked on adapters and T's is going to go away. And yeah, the whole oiling system is going to be quite a bit better. One of the things I need to do is actually take out that oil cooler, because we're actually not going to be running an oil cooler anymore. We're going to be converting over to a heat exchanger with the coolant, so the oil will warm up faster, and I don't think we're going to have any issues. Right now, with the way things are, the oil generally doesn't heat up enough, and that's more of a problem, because if you don't heat up your oil enough, you get a lot more acids building up to basically the water reacts with the oil components and you get acid compounds forming. So if you don't boil your water off, the water vapor off in your oil, then it's bad long term. Granted, that might be more of like an OEM type situation where you're expecting 100,000 miles on an engine, but it's still better in general to not really have to worry about, that kind of thing. And racing oil is not cheap, and you want to keep it within the right temperature range, because if it's too cold, you're actually losing power to the wheels. So that's another consideration. So basically the filter is going to be relocated in this area here. That's going to give us quite a bit better weight distribution too, because I bet all of these lines and the oil cooler and the filter boss and all of that stuff weighs a good chunk, and moving that over to the passenger side is generally a good thing, and it'll also make all of the oil lines a lot shorter. I would not be surprised if doing all of that cuts out literally 12 to 15 feet of line, and that's actually effectively increasing the diameter of the line, because of the basically the shorter the line the better. There's less resistance to flow just due to less wall friction in line with everything. So that being said, that's pretty much an update on everything. Actually, I don't think I've commented on the lights. I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 LEDs. Those 2 LEDs up there lighting up the loft. But with these 7 LEDs, I love the light in here. Don't know if you can really, well, you can tell the color temperature difference between the old fluorescents and the new LEDs. That alone actually makes it more pleasant in here. Plus they're quieter and more efficient. And they're actually technically not as bright. I did check where the lumens are on top of my weld table here, and I think it was between 150 and 160. Over here, standing under the old fluorescents, it's technically brighter, but with these old bulbs, the light quality is just really poor. Yeah. This is much more pleasant over here to work. The color rendition seems more natural. I am squinting less. I can read things more clearly. I think my photos are better. If you notice a difference in the video quality, let me know. I'm really curious about that. I also got more in here. I'm not going to bother turning these on. There's more over there. It's actually really bright. I set up my 3D printer. It needs an enclosure. It's a bit chilly in the shop. That's something that I'm going to be working on slowly. There's a couple other modifications that the printer needs. I did actually install stepper dampers, so it's actually super quiet. The fans are the noisiest thing. That's something I'm going to address eventually, but I was dorking around with that. I do want to get a BL Touch bed leveling sensor, and then I'm also going to build a new build plate because the original build plate is awful. It's warped like you wouldn't believe. The glass that came with it is awful, and it's actually really heavy. That's one of the things that I didn't know much about when I specified purchasing this unit. This is the Creality CR10 S5, so it's 500 millimeters cubed build volume. That's just under 20 inches square. That's a lot. It's big, and for some of the things that we're going to print, we do need the volume. But with these kind of printers, having the build bed move creates a lot of inertia, so you can't actually print as fast as some of the other styles of printers. That is annoying. It's not the end of the world, but it's annoying. Oh, screw it, since I'm over here. Yeah, and that's a lot brighter. I mean, it is bright in here, and that's with just the 4 LEDs. I don't actually feel the need to put any more in here at all. It's bright enough. Yeah. So that pretty much, I think, does it for shop updates. Yeah. Dang it, I forgot. I got a new sticker from Iron Mountain Metalworks. I do have a sticker from Jay Moshera on Instagram. He's actually a coworker at my new day job. I'm a dope, and I forgot them at home. But that sticker's going to be up there soon. And yeah. So that's honest. Oh yeah, I love Fireball Tool Square. This thing is friggin' awesome. I was using that. If you check out my Instagram at Beaver Built, I was using that to transfer holes from the old plate to the new plate. This design's friggin' fantastic. Everything is milled to a great degree of flatness. This is obviously a 90 degree. You've got your 45 degrees here. Well, this is 90 degree included, 45 half. So you can put angles together and get them lined up perfectly at 90 degrees. You can go external. You can set this flat and clamp it down so you've got surfaces to work off of. You can clamp it to things like that and get your surfaces to work on. It has these drilled holes here for tabs so you can actually line things up and butt them up on there. Overall, it's just a really fantastic piece. This is a cast iron one. I would like more of those, and this is the small size. They have a much larger size available. That's the one that I could afford, so that's what I've got. I think that's honestly the most update I have. So this is over 21 minutes now, so I figure I probably rambled on enough. This is a project for another day. So my wife just messaged me. She's on her way to the storage unit, so we're gonna go take care of that. And yeah. So hopefully over the next week we're gonna see the truck get done, figure out the shock mount there and get the AccuSump mounted. Yeah, that'll be exciting, and start working on moving around some of the other stuff. There'll be more exciting updates on the engine and other crap. So yeah, that's honestly about it. And yeah, it's good to there's some progress, so it's good. So I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at Beaver Built. Look up Beaver Built on Facebook, although I don't really post on there much, but there's stuff there. And there'll be some other announcements by the end of the year. So look forward to that. All right. Have a great rest of your weekend. Be awesome. Be cool. Make cool stuff. And I will catch you guys later.